1. Waymo in Philly. Is another robot doomed? Remember HitchBOT? 2. Waymo brings autonomous testing fleet to Philadelphia. 3. Waymo brings self-driving cars to Philadelphia. Road trip testing begins. 4. Waymo's Robotaxis hit Philly, testing self-driving tech in new cities. 5. Waymo Robotaxis invade East Coast, Philly and NYC next in line for self-driving rides. 1. Waymo in Philly. Is another robot doomed? Remember HitchBOT? Driverless cars are rolling into Philadelphia, but should the city's history with robots give us pause? Waymo, the autonomous vehicle service, has set up shop in Philly for early trials, sparking memories of a less fortunate robotic visitor from the past. But here's where it gets controversial. What does the tragic fate of HitchBOT tell us about the city's relationship with technology? Back in 2013, HitchBOT, a charming, child-sized hitchhiking robot, was born out of a Canadian research project aimed at exploring human-robot interactions. This friendly bot was designed to rely on the goodwill of strangers to travel the world, sharing its adventures on social media and building a dedicated fan base along the way. HitchBOT managed to complete successful journeys through the Netherlands, Germany, and Canada, but its luck ran out when it hit American soil. In 2015, just 2 weeks after setting off from Boston, HitchBOT found itself on the streets of Philadelphia, where its journey came to a violent end. According to its creators, the robot was brutally attacked, decapitated, and likely stripped for parts. The incident was a stark reminder of Philadelphia's unofficial motto, "This is why we can't have nice things." And this is the part most people miss. The vandalism of HitchBOT wasn't an isolated incident. In recent years, another art installation, The Portal, suffered a similar fate in Philadelphia, with parts of it being stolen. This has led many to wonder if there's something about the city that brings out the worst in people when it comes to public installations and robots. The story of HitchBOT became a talking point on late-night TV, with shows like Seth Meyers and John Oliver's making light of the situation. However, the humor couldn't mask the underlying concern. Is Philadelphia ready for the next wave of technological advancements? Now, a decade after HitchBOT's untimely demise, the little robot story is resurfacing as a cautionary tale. Social media users are sharing memes and jokes about Waymo's arrival, with some even suggesting that history might repeat itself. What do you think? Should Waymo be worried, or is Philadelphia ready to embrace the future of autonomous vehicles? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 2. Waymo brings autonomous testing fleet to Philadelphia. Hold on to your cheesesteaks, Philly. Self-driving tech is hitting your streets, but are we ready for this robotic invasion? Waymo, the autonomous vehicle pioneer, has officially launched its Philadelphia testing campaign this week. The company isn't just passing through, they're bringing a specialized fleet to intensively study the city's unique roadways. In a characteristically quirky social media announcement, Waymo declared Philadelphia a national treasure on Platform X, celebrating its gritty spirit and iconic food culture. This forms part of their ambitious coast-to-coast research tour targeting 10 major U.S. cities throughout 2025, including giants like New York, Boston, and Las Vegas. Here's the critical detail many overlook. These aren't driverless taxis. Yet, human safety operators will physically control the vehicles during this initial data gathering phase. These trained specialists will navigate Philadelphia's most demanding environments: downtown corridors, high-speed highways, and neighborhood labyrinths from North Central to University City. But here's where it gets controversial. While they'll be driving through public spaces, these vehicles remain strictly off-limits to passengers. Waymo openly admits this closed testing allows their AI driver system to digitally memorize Philly's complex layout. Once sufficiently trained, the company claims the technology could begin operating without human intervention. Not company spokesperson emphasized their community-focused approach. Like any good tourist, we're eager to experience Philadelphia's distinct driving culture and connect with locals. We're committed to being respectful neighbors through active collaboration with both residents and policymakers. This Philadelphia pilot isn't happening in isolation. Waymo currently completes over 250,000 fully autonomous paid rides weekly across San Francisco, Phoenix, LA, Austin, and Atlanta, proving the technology already functions commercially elsewhere. Now we turn to you, Philadelphia. Does having Waymo's eyes on your streets represent exciting technological progress or an unwelcome privacy experiment? Sound off in the comments. Are you cheering for the robots or clutching your steering wheel tighter? 3. Waymo brings self-driving cars to Philadelphia. Road trip testing begins. Waymo launches testing in Philadelphia with human safety drivers. In an exciting development for autonomous vehicle technology, Waymo has announced that it will commence testing in Philadelphia, utilizing a select group of vehicles accompanied by human safety drivers. This initiative marks a significant step in the company's ongoing efforts to expand its self-driving capabilities. In a recent post on X, Waymo expressed its enthusiasm for the city, stating, "This city is a national treasure. It's a city of love, where eagles soar with a gritty spirit and cheese that spreads and cheese that stakes. Our road trip continues to Philly next." This colorful description highlights the unique character of Philadelphia, setting the stage for Waymo's ambitious plans. Waymo, a subsidiary of Alphabet, confirmed to CNBC that its testing will take place in Pennsylvania's largest city throughout the fall season. The initial fleet of vehicles will be manually operated in the more intricate areas of Philadelphia, including bustling downtown streets and major highways. A spokesperson for Waymo noted, "Folks will see our vehicles driving at all hours throughout various neighborhoods, from North Central to Eastwick, and from University City to as far east as the Delaware River." The purpose of these so-called road trips is twofold: to gather essential mapping data and to assess how Waymo's autonomous technology, known as Waymo Driver, adapts to new environments, including local traffic patterns and infrastructure. These road trips serve as a crucial method for the company to evaluate the feasibility of potentially launching a paid ride-sharing service in specific locations. This expanded testing initiative aligns with Waymo's broader strategy for growth. Recently, the company revealed plans to conduct manual vehicle testing in New York, which represents a pivotal move towards entering the largest city in the United States. Waymo has applied for a permit from the New York City Department of Transportation to operate autonomously with a trained specialist behind the wheel in Manhattan, although current state laws do not permit fully driverless operations. Waymo One, the company's ride-hailing service, currently facilitates over 250,000 paid trips weekly across cities like Phoenix, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Austin, Texas. Looking ahead, Waymo is gearing up to introduce fully autonomous rides in Atlanta, Miami, and Washington, D.C. by 2026. As Alphabet continues to invest heavily in infrastructure, there is increasing pressure to monetize its artificial intelligence products. The Other Bets segment, which includes Waymo, generated $1.65 billion in revenue in 2024, a rise from $1.53 billion in 2023. However, this segment also reported a loss of $4.44 billion last year, compared to a loss of $4.09 billion the year before. But here's where it gets controversial. As Waymo pushes forward with its testing and expansion plans, questions arise about the implications of autonomous vehicles on urban environments and public safety. Are we ready for a future where self-driving cars are a common sight on our streets? What do you think about the balance between innovation and safety? Share your thoughts in the comments. 4. Waymo's Robotaxis hit Philly, testing self-driving tech in new cities. Buckle up. The self-driving revolution is steering straight into Philadelphia, and not everyone is ready for the ride. Waymo, the high-profile company behind driverless taxis that's already shaking up traffic in several U.S. cities, is bringing its autonomous vehicles to Philly as the next leg of its ambitious road trip expansion. But here's where it gets controversial. The cars won't be giving rides to the public just yet. They're here strictly for behind-the-scenes testing. Announced Monday via X, formerly Twitter, Waymo's upcoming Philly foray is about much more than sightseeing. Instead, this phase will see a handful of self-driving vehicles, each with a trained human operator at the wheel, navigating the city's streets to gather valuable data, map unfamiliar roads, and expose their AI to Philly's notoriously diverse driving conditions. Think of it as a high-tech scouting mission. The vehicles aren't available for passenger rides, but their experiences here will directly shape how future Robotaxi services handle the real world. Why Philly, you might ask? According to a recent Waymo blog post, the goal is to bring the benefits of our technology to more people in more places, especially cities with different traffic cultures, weather patterns, and street layouts than the company's usual stomping grounds. By challenging their software with new environments, Waymo believes it can make its cars safer and more reliable for everyone. And this is the part most people miss. These tests aren't about showing off. They're about stress testing the tech where things get tricky. Although Waymo didn't respond to direct questions on Monday, a spokesperson told TechCrunch the cars would be exploring some of Philly's most complicated areas, from bustling Center City and its crowded highways, to neighborhoods stretching from North Central to Eastwick, University City, and all the way out to the Delaware River. The plan includes day and night driving across the city, ensuring their technology encounters every possible scenario Philly roads can throw at it. If you're wondering who's in charge when robots drive, Philadelphia's Office of Transportation and Infrastructure Systems says all oversight falls to PennDOT, the state agency responsible for autonomous vehicle regulation. However, PennDOT wasn't immediately available to comment on the specifics of this test. For a bit of context, Waymo first launched fully driverless ride-hailing in Phoenix 5 years ago, steadily expanding to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Austin. Next on its radar, Miami and Washington, D.C., both slated for Robotaxi service next year. This summer, Waymo is also conducting manual driving data collection in New York City and North Jersey, two places where actual self-driving tests must wait for city approval. Waymo confirmed last month that it has applied for NYC permits and dropped hints about eventually offering rides there. But the debate over self-driving safety isn't going away. According to a recent AAA survey, a striking 61% of Americans say they're afraid to step inside an autonomous car, a modest improvement from last year, but still a majority. More than half of respondents refuse to use Robotaxi services like Waymo or its main rival, Cruise. So, does the public fear match reality, or is it overblown? Waymo insists its technology is already proving itself. In a peer-reviewed study published in May, their analysis showed that, across multiple cities, Waymo's cars were involved in 85% fewer serious injury crashes and 92% fewer pedestrian injury incidents compared to human drivers. Supporters argue these numbers are a game-changer for road safety, yet critics point out that real-world conditions, public trust, and regulatory acceptance still pose major hurdles. So, what's next? Just because Waymo visits a city doesn't mean commercial Robotaxi launches are right around the corner. But history suggests these road trips serve as a test run for future rollouts. For example, a stop in Santa Monica preceded Waymo's official debut in Los Angeles last November. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania is steadily building its own framework for autonomous vehicles. Last October, PennDOT revised its rules for certifying private companies to operate everything from self-driving trucks to passenger robot access, even those without a human backup. The agency stresses that companies still need to adapt to Pennsylvania's unique terrain and unpredictable climate, elements that can challenge even the most advanced AI systems. According to Derek Herman, the PennDOT chief of transformational technology, we already have several companies testing on state roads, mainly around Pittsburgh. Firms like Stack AV and Aurora are leading the Western charge, but there's little doubt Philly, with its sheer size and untapped market, will attract intense interest from other Robotaxi leaders as well. And now, a question for the skeptics and enthusiasts alike. Do you believe autonomous vehicles can truly outperform human drivers on busy city streets, or is the technology still too risky to trust? Would you ride in a Waymo if given the chance, or do you side with the majority who remain wary? Let's get the debate rolling. Share your perspective below. 5. Waymo Robotaxis invade East Coast, Philly and NYC next in line for self-driving rides. Waymo's self-driving cars are embarking on a journey to Philadelphia and New York City, marking a significant step towards expanding their presence in the northeastern United States. But here's the catch. These road trips don't necessarily mean a commercial launch is imminent. In fact, Waymo has announced several similar trips this year to cities like Houston, Orlando, Las Vegas, San Diego, and San Antonio. So, what's the real purpose behind these expeditions? Typically, Waymo sends a small fleet of human-driven vehicles equipped with their autonomous driving system to map out the new city. Then, they test the vehicles autonomously, still with a human behind the wheel, before taking any data and learnings back to their engineers to improve the AI driver's performance. In some cases, these road trips have led to commercial launches, such as in Santa Monica, where Waymo now operates a commercial service. But here's where it gets controversial. Waymo applied last month for a permit to test its AVs in New York City with a human behind the wheel. But the city's AV regulations don't currently allow operators to deploy self-driving vehicles with no human in the front seat. This has sparked a debate, with Waymo advocating for a change in the law. What do you think? Should self-driving cars be allowed on the streets of New York City without a human in the driver's seat?